Learning how to overcome addiction and addictive personalities. So addiction and addictive personalities are very vital to take into consideration when you are considering a person's mental health. When someone comes to you and tells you that they have an addiction or addictive personalities, it's a very serious cause. It's something that's developed over time and just situations that hit at the right time. Usually what's referred to as a perfect storm. Just kind of like right there, right time, and it can influence someone. The reason that it's dangerous is because these are real chemicals that can override the brain's natural functions. Natural happiness, natural sadness. Take something when you're sad, make you happy. Something, when you're naturally trying to feel, you can stop feeling. When you're tired, makes you not tired, ranging from all different things. I'm talking coffee, cigarettes, alcohol, whatever it is. It could be heavier stuff too. You build chemical dependencies on this thing once you start doing more and more of it. So I'm going to talk about that. Addiction, like I mentioned, just a codependency on one thing. So we must consider that there are dangerous and tough addictions to take into consideration, like alcohol. Alcohol is not easy to quit. It is a very tough addiction. It's got someone in a chokehold because of the influence it has on someone to turn their brain off, to make them feel happy, to shut them out of such a dangerous world can really, really help. It can help, and that's the danger, is that there will be so much stress and anxiety and caution and work in life. There's going to be stress, there's going to be worry, there's going to be issues in life. And depending on how you use this, you cannot escape life to an extent, if that makes sense. Life is giving you a certain conditioning with situations and scenarios that are there to strengthen you. And most people find these scenarios and they don't have the strength. Maybe they were raised off of a foundation and they go to this. They find this shuts their brain off. They're telling themselves horrible things, stops that. They're worrying, stops that. It can be a range of different things that this is helping. But in general, it's how we must approach this and how it was initially approached. So let's say somebody is lacking. Somebody doesn't have in the moment. Let's say, for an example, they're upset, right? Then somebody invites you out to a bar and you go out and they offer a drink. They see you're upset. They offer you a drink. Your friend's trying to make you happy. They see you're upset. They're like, yeah, try something, There could be that peer pressure, but it's just, it's out of a good intention, So you try it, and it appears to help that night. You guys go out every weekend, so you're going to try that now. You found you work with that. But then you find you may not work with that the more you do it. As much as you try. And that's the thing, you have to try to work with it. You maneuver your life, you make time, you change things, you alter sleep patterns, you do a bunch of things to maneuver your life in favor of this. And that's the issue, because that can be detrimental in the long term. Maybe not in the instance, maybe that night that you got that serotonin or that, you're not thinking about it, it's cool. And most of this shit's not going to hit now or in 5 or 10 years. It could be in 30 years, 40 years, but that, you want to create a foundation that is strong. You want your kids to know that, run to these, we're going to work through this, and we're going to attack this. You're not going to be called out. We're going to work through this. So, in general, let's discuss why we get addicted. We get addicted because, in general, those addicting things have strong chemicals, and that's the problem. There's strong chemicals that react on people. Coffee, sugar is a strong chemical. Coffee. Caffeine, sugar, those are strong chemicals. You see children, it impacts them greatly, and it's because of the brain. It's because of if that brain is not foundation, if that brain doesn't have that foundation yet, it's just filling in. It's all just filling in. Kids just eating candy, they're happy eating candy, it's just filling in. Right? And that becomes something you learn older. It's just, you don't think it's a problem. You think, oh, I could just, But what we do is we'll see, oh, there's that rough night. Oh, well, I have this. This is accessible to me. I've learned to work with this. And it's a tough thing. It's a tough thing. It's very, 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 very tough to quit something that in the moment is helping you. That's cold turkey. That's completely removing something from your life. And just, it's like, that's what people don't like to admit. It's a fucked up thing to say that your syringe is the one thing waking you up in the morning. It's fucked up to say that, the vape cuts your emotions out. It's fucked up to say that alcohol is the only thing you look forward to for the weekend. It is, but it's true. It's true to some people. It's true because the curve these chemicals have, they work every single time. Alcohol will never not get someone intoxicated. And if it does, they do more, and then they do. Weed will never not get someone fucking high. Nicotine will never not get someone buzzed. Meth will never not get someone fucked up. I don't know. But they work every time. Now think about, let's think in general. In life, you're taught to be independent. You can't depend on anything. Things change. Life is, changes nature. So you must learn to be independent so that you're better for yourself in the future. So most times you find yourself being very independent. So that's where you point out this addiction. When you don't see that independence, you see a very easy sign of codependency. You say, I need, I want, that's the way to attack this, the way to understand that one thing is you're saying that you need this, you want this, and that's where it's ultimately messing with your head. So, let's say you're addicted to something and you want to stop the next day. It's scary to think that tomorrow morning, whether you have work and you need this to satisfy you for work, whatever it is, that you're going to sweat, you're going to worry, you're going to think. But you must understand that you are being so anxious about that, but that is something that will strengthen you. It is inescapable in life. Like I've mentioned, this little anxiety you're feeling with the whatever it is now is outshining what you're going to experience in life. What you're yet to experience. The life is tough out there and it can be scary. Maybe not everyone's ready. Maybe people jump out in that world and then they want to go back in. It's scary. So it's hard to fortify your mind with a strong work. And, you have to understand there will be 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 6, even fucking months feeling upset. That's normal. That is it's normal. That's the one thing we need to understand is that when you feel upset, when you don't like things, when you're sad, those are normal emotions and they were just not taken care of properly. They were misowned. They were not considered. So you're killing them. You're removing them because they're, So you must understand that through life you went to this thing because you were feeling upset, and you may have this dependency on yourself to not feel upset, to try to fake it. Faking it till you don't make it is something you hear. It can benefit you, but truthfully, some things will bug the fuck out of you, and you just can't forget about it. Some things are what they are, and if it's eating you, it's eating you, and sometimes you can't really pull away from that. So the one thing we really want to take into consideration is how then this is built into your life. You wake up every morning, you go to this, it's schedule, it's routine. Like I've said, you learn to work with it, you build a routine around it. It becomes easy to work with this thing. So to think that tomorrow you're going to stop this, it would be very difficult. It would be scary on the mind. But let's say tomorrow you got it out of the house. You just threw it out, flushed it, whatever, just got it out of your sight. And then you're sitting there like, well, I don't have it. I don't have it. What am I going to do now? It's that's exactly where you're going, right into your head, and it's trapping. Like I said, some people can be so very, very, very addicted that they dissociate and they shut out when they don't have it. It's scary. It can be very, very bad. Or it can be something like, I don't need it. And then you start sweating later and you're like, crap, you know. But the tough part and the toughest part is you feel like you're hurting yourself, and your brain is convincing you that you are hurting yourself by doing this, by quitting the thing that is benefiting you, by quitting alcohol, by quitting these things. You are convincing yourself in your brain, because this is the dangerous part, because it's not right in the moment. In the moment, you're just not experiencing that happiness. So, if it's not happiness, it's sorrow. The addiction F's with your head in a crazy way, and I'm going to explain here just in a second. So, you don't have, and you may be sad. You're like, what if you're not sad? You're just bugging, right? Your body's, you'll negatively react to this, and that's the danger. The addiction has infiltrated your mind. It's a part of you. It's what told you to hit it. It's what told you to go do that. So that same thing is going to start bouncing around like fucking nothing, because it doesn't know what to do now. It's probably going to start saying some nasty fucking things, whatever it is. There's one thing you have to remember, and it's that you are doing this for your well-being. You are doing this for yourself. You are doing this to help yourself. This will have a positive impact. And the toughest part is you can't trust your own fucking brain. You can't. Like, you can't. Even with love, even with serotonin, with dopamine, they're just chemicals. It's you can't fucking trust your own brain with that. When they're being overridden, you can't listen to your brain in that addictive moment that's telling yourself all this effed up shit. It's really tough. The whole reason you're in the addiction is because you couldn't turn your brain off, but this is a strengthening moment where you really, really, really got to work on killing those emotions. It's a looped process. And that's why people never quit, because the second they lose it, they learn immediately why they need it. Isn't that weird? They learn immediately why they need it the second they quit. I could think, less messed up like a medicine. People need medicine, and I'm not saying medicine is necessarily an addiction, but usually people don't react well when they stop taking this crap. It's expected. It's messed up. They need their medicine. If they don't wake up, they say they're gonna die or some shit. It's lethal. But that's another thing where you tell yourself it's gonna kill you if you quit. You're gonna relapse. You're gonna, it's going to help you. It's there to help you. Your body is reacting, but your brain has become very strong. That's the thing. You've learned to work with your brain, but in a very evil way. You can satisfy your mind, and you can be like, okay, yeah, well, I got this. I have this. It's all right. Your brain requires, and you give that. You've made a deal with this addiction. You do this, you do that. And it may work for months, and then you have that one shitty day that's like, I hate this shit. But it may work for a year, and then you have only one shitty day, and you're like, I don't like this. But then what happens if it works for 4 years or 5 years, and it's implemented into your life? There's you feel like there's no chance you'll quit this. That is your brain just jumping to that same thing, telling you and trying to work yourself out of it. In that very small second, you thought of an idea of your life where you quit. And your brain's like, whoa, no, that's bad. I wasn't spending my time thinking about that. It's dangerous. Your brain is the most important thing up here. It's the most important thing. As much as what I say seems like crap, it's just sitting up there, and sometimes it feeds you bullshit, but that's because it's the conduit. It's everything. It's responsible. It's literally you. It's the only thing you have at the end of the day is this brain. And if you don't take care of that, it will fucking destroy you. It'll fucking destroy you. And a lot of people are convinced that an addiction and satisfying their brain with an addiction every day is taking care of their brain. It is the absolute opposite. And it may hurt to say that because you're just listening to cravings and you're just trying to be happy. Stress just keeps hitting you. Life ain't hitting right. But life will get better once you quit this. 1000%. It is a trapped mindset. Most people won't try things just because they're scared of it not having the outcome they want. You know? Most people don't do anything, you know, it's anxiety, all these emotions attack up. So you must remember that when you are approaching addiction and you are like, I want to quit, and then your brain starts freaking out and you're like, whoa, I don't want to do that. That means you're working. That means you're doing good. That is a step. You need to have that anxiety that you're doing wrong every second. You need to drive that beast in your brain crazy. It sucks. You just kill it. That's all you do every single time is you kill the beast. That's all you do. But what you don't realize is what I just said. There's a beast in your fucking head. There's a beast in your fucking head. Like that's in general what it is. And you're fueling him. You're just fueling him. Just so that he doesn't lash out or freak out or you don't know. You don't know what's going to happen. You're scared to find out what's going to happen if that beast doesn't get what he wants. You've had an inkling. You know, you may have had times where you're scared to quit or you lost that thing. Your body reacts. You get sweats. You get scared. You just tell yourself all this bullshit. And that's the problem, is that the one thing you come to rely on falls. The brain falls. Let's say people are using their head their entire lives and they run into addiction. It's going to fuck with that. So it is something you are truly, truly doing on your own. It's tough. Not even with this up here. It can be difficult because some addictions override. You can't even be working with this up here. You have to understand that if you're just head down, fixated, tunnel visioned on getting this out of your fucking life, that's okay. Just fuck trying to impress people. Just fuck trying to, your life is vital. Addiction is important. It is the return of investment of this decision that matters. You want to be better. You don't want a dependency. It's just going to grow into more. You'll find more dependencies. You'll learn that a dependency is something acceptable, but a dependency is not. You cannot put responsibility into something. Not every time is it going to work. Not every time. But that is a strong mindset and a strong thought you can learn, that not every time something can work. If you learn that not every time something can work, you're strong. You've conquered life. Most people run into situations where something doesn't work their way. Just about fucking everyone runs into situations where something doesn't work their way and they quit, right? But I did my best. I did what I was told. I did the steps I required. Everything was going right, but why didn't I receive it? Why didn't I receive it? So next is just attacking the finite solution. Why is someone addicted? Why? What stems it? What occurs in someone's life that makes them addicted? Whether you're observing yourself or you're viewing a friend, you see someone you used to know and you see them now, they're doing this, you wouldn't have never expected it. You ever ask someone who's like addicted, 5 years ago, would you have seen yourself doing this? They're like, fuck no. But what happened? How did it happen? How did it hit in their life? And that, where I'm going to refer to this perfect storm again, where it was at the right time, at the, what appeared to be at the right time, at the right moment, but it was all just placed to where you somehow, it was susceptible. Because it can range from, you can have ran into this addiction when you were younger, you could have ran into this addiction during a dark time. It is when that mind is susceptible. But a strong-minded person would never think about this. They would always be, okay, I have what I need. But what actually convinces that strong person would they have what I need? Because it isn't something physical, like a drug, because that is something physical. You're convincing yourself you're happy with something physical. But people who are truthfully strong don't even have that. There's a weird scenario, and I'm going to try to apply it here. And most people think strength is given by things, and that's how the codependency and addictive personalities come up. We want something, we grow on something, we think it'll benefit, we think this will benefit us. But let me tell you something. In the food chain, in the jungle, right? The lion. Think about the lion, right? He's considered the king of the jungle. But he's not. And I heard this somewhere online, right? The king of the lion is not the king of the jungle. Because there's a bunch of shit that physically outshines it, right? An elephant could fucking kill a lion, right? A pretty big ape or a group of apes could fuck up a lion. Wolves could fuck up a lion. A couple ostriches could probably fuck up a lion. Most things could, if they wanted to, kill a lion. So why is it the king of the jungle? And it's just because it thinks it is. It's its mindset. It is. It's the king of the jungle. It is, just thinks it is. Maybe some people don't think it is, but it is. It's the way it views itself. And that becomes a big thing about addiction. We run into these addictions because of how we view ourselves. We don't view ourselves as the king of our own jungle. So we think this will make us the king of our own jungle. This is making us happy, and happiness is the key to our jungle. And it can be misconstrued through a difficult understanding. But, connected to what I say, this provides this feeling that gratifies you, and it can overpower what's going on. Let's say you work fucking a tiring shift and you get high and you're like fucking, it's like all relieves, all the stress, all the worry goes away. But it doesn't. It's just blocked out. It's not actually fixed. Nothing's actually solved. Nothing's improved. You aren't sulking on it anymore, which appears to be good. But when that compares with the addictive personality, you're not going to do that every month, right? You are going to be using that as your new coping mechanism, okay? So then you're like, okay, this works. This shuts my brain off, okay? So let's say this becomes a thing. You like coming home from work and doing this. So you come home from work, you drink or do whatever, you drink or smoke, and you feel good, right? Your day can be stressful, your day can be tiring, your day can be good, but whatever the fuck it is, you forget about it at the end because you want to, you choose to, you do whatever, right? It's one of those instantaneous gratifications, but doesn't solve it because you find yourself each week in keep going back. And if, like I said before, it would solve it if you just did it once and it never occurred again. But it continues and continues and continues to grow. You continue to feel it. You receive the chemical, but you just never receive enough for some reason. You can receive enough in one sitting, but then you get it out, and then it's never enough again. You need more. But you really start to drown yourself when you learn to cope by shutting the brain off, because I've stressed that this is a very important fucking part of you. It's the working engine of the car. It's not gonna fucking work without that big part. And that's how most people see it, is they've turned their brain off during the addiction for a while. So when they're reached with quitting the addiction, it's like fucking numb. They're numbskull to the idea. They don't even see themselves doing it. They can't. And that's that demon that's just worked into their head through time and time. It's tough, but we're gonna work on getting that out. So the addictive personalities grow from you continuing to want this, and it never satisfies. And one thing you understand is that it will never satisfy. You do this now, you won't be satisfied later on. You've been already doing it. You're not going to be satisfied. That constant gratification will be 99%, but never 100. You'll always want more. You'll be doing this for 20, 30, 40 years. You will. That's the one thing you don't realize that you're afraid to not see out, is that you fear quitting it, but you don't fear what you'll be like in 20 years of using this, and then it just stops. I'll put it into a relationship for an example. Think about you wake up every morning and this person takes care of you. Like a baby, right? Let's say you're a baby. Every morning this person takes care of you. You wake up, you're just a baby, you don't do anything, and this person does everything you need for you. You don't do anything. This person does everything for you. It appears, right? That builds every day. Every day that person does it. Day in, next day, week. So you learn to just not do anything. This person's going to do it. But what would happen if that person stopped? What would happen if that person weren't there? What would that baby do? What could that baby do? Nothing. It hurts, and you would really want that baby to do something, but their brain just does not know what to do. It's just not taught. It was just not developed. It was just how life, and that's how we learn to adjust to our lives. We're always adjusting. It's always acclimating. It's always learning to become comfortable. So with an addiction, whether it's bad or good, if it's giving you that little amount of gratification, you're going to learn to work with it, and that's what's difficult. It's really difficult. Some meth heads are picking their skin. They're ripping themselves up apart, and you see it, and you don't know why. You couldn't imagine why somebody would abuse such a horrible drug, but you don't know that the feeling that they are on is something that has outshined years. It's scary. It's something you just can't abuse. You must know in life that there's nothing to seek in these things. It's obvious that they give you an amazing feeling. It's obvious that weed gets you high. It's obvious that this gets you this. It's obvious that alcohol gets you drunk. These are things that we seek for just taking out the brain. But what if those problems were solved? What if we became the problem solver instead of just we went to this? We were like working and we were able to fix things. We were able to go in our brain. What if your brain wasn't against you? And that's the thing, is most people learn with an addiction and they get that devil and they are immediately convinced that their brain is against them. And that is the one leading predecessor to attempting the addiction. And I've said previously that in aspects the brain is not going to work with you in the addiction. But in that case, when you're saying stuff like, I'm not able to quit, I don't have the strength, I can't do this, I'm not going to, I'm going to do, that is where the brain is not working with you. It's not going to work with you. But you need to understand that it's there. This is all you have. This is it. It's not something you can spend your whole life avoiding and being tough. It is it's your variable. You need to work on it, right? You've been saying negative things about yourself and you've been hard on yourself, but through time and work, you say positive things and work on it. It will then do you a favor in return. And I think that's mostly how the addiction stems, because if one were saying good things to their brain, they would always feel constantly negative and anxious doing this. They'd be like, this isn't right. I'm rewarding my brain when I'm not receiving anything. It's affecting the hippo. I'm getting this reward, but I haven't done anything. I'm just killing the emotion, But you are rewarded for getting through a difficult task. It is always, no matter how much somebody feels like they won't be seen for pushing through, waking up every morning, life is tough. And one way a lot of people deal with it is addiction. That's how you see it. You see that addiction is such a ginormous thing. It's not a scarce problem. Everyone does it. It's a big problem, which means that it is not something you're going through alone per se. But you understand that this is such a big problem that a lot of people go lives and years without figuring out what it is. And that's the danger. That's the real danger. Is if somebody is convinced that this is helping them, they won't quit. If someone is convinced that this is good for them, they just won't. And they need to have that initiative that they are better than what they are receiving from this thing, no matter what the chemical feels like. And that can be difficult when someone just doesn't have that natural stimuli in life. But one thing that can be really good to remind yourself is that you put yourself above like 20% of the world from naturally taking out a task sober, naturally taking out a task with thorough thought instead of emotions, understanding the work in life, the work given to us. It is difficult. It is so difficult sometimes, ranging on what it is. Life hits in that perfect scenario. It ranges, but it gets us to just beat us and tire us and make us restless. It can be impactful, and that's one thing I don't impact on a lot, is that lives of people can range. People can have a good situation, and this can just add to it, or they could have a bad situation at home, and this could be the only thing that they have. But one thing about the addiction that you need to understand is that the people will be so thankful to hear that story. They'll be thankful that you're alive. They'll be thankful, and the amount of sheer strength that comes from learning that you are not codependent for something after doing something is amazing. It outshines. Keep in mind what I said. People go lives not learning addiction. People die. People literally fucking die under addiction every day. It kills millions. It's just, it literally kills fucking millions. It is not even funny. Addiction kills people every second. It is literally, it's a big cause. I can't say number one, but wouldn't doubt it. It is a ginormous cause. Everyone's addicted, whether it's the smallest to the biggest things, right? So you must understand that you are fighting something that a lot of people are fighting. It is something you could reach out to people and talk about. It is something that others will understand. It is, you mold into this personality where you think you are better off doing this. You mold into this person, like your brain works with this addiction. Like I said, you work with it in such a funny life way where you start to see yourself as this person. You start to see yourself as a pot smoker, and you call yourself it, even if you don't even view yourself 5 years ago. Even if you aren't, your brain learns to work with it. And those good things override everything sometimes. But you must understand that when you're sitting there in that room talking about, yeah, I made it out. Holy shit, you made it out. Man, some people had friends that didn't. Wow. I had a mother who never made it out. That is an incredible try. It is insanely beneficial. But there is a reason why so many people are trapped. You must not think, oh, I'm stronger, I can do this. There is a definite reason why it entangles so many people. Because it's not just the brain. It is not just the susceptibility. Because these are adults that can be addicted. These are elderly people that can be addicted. It can be kids too. But it's impactful. And once you learn and understand the situation, you're on the initiative. Once you understand you are addicted, that's probably the biggest thing you can do. And the next step is just to visualize yourself in that room, talking with your friends, talking with your family, talking with whoever you want, talking with yourself, saying, you got through something a lot of people don't. You got through a fucking difficult ride. You went through something, you got put in a situation, life handed you a shitty deck. Really, life handed you a deck of cards, and you still won the fucking game with a shitty deck of cards. That's pretty impressive. Because some people gloat about their good cards, and sometimes still lose. But you could be the person that's got a shitty situation, you're fucked, you don't see yourself out. And then there's that saying, oh, bottom, you're at rock bottom, the only way is up. But fuck that saying, I'm going to say something better. You want this change. You really do. You want this change. You want to be better. You can be better. It is in you. And what you tell your brain isn't really true sometimes. It's difficult to tell yourself. You sound fucking stupid. But when you're in addiction, it overrides sometimes when you start to stem yourself with scary questions like quitting. But one thing you need to remember is that they will be so much more thankful that you are sitting in a room with them talking about what you got through than over your funeral talking about something you could never ever get rid of, something that just ate you, something that killed you from the bone in, something you seeked day in and day out. You got tired, you died for this shit. Your ancestors worked their ass off for this. Your ancestors and descendants gave you here so that you can seek something as little as a drug. You want to take the initiative, and not tomorrow, but as soon as now. Not even as soon as you can. Now. Wait, it's 11 o'clock, whenever the fuck you're watching this video, you're having a night sweats. We're gonna get through this, okay? We will. This is the rockiest fucking journey you're ever going to meet too. Jonesing, withdrawing, addiction. It's the rockiest journey. Withdrawing, sweating every second. Fuck that. Freaking out, wanting something. How many people get over a person instantaneously? No one. Takes them months. Takes them years. And it's like, dude, just get the fuck over that person. But you don't understand. You don't understand what's locked into their head from that person. But you know there's nothing you can tell that person to just take out that feeling. Hey, they need to take the initiative to get over that person. It's the same with an addiction. You need to take the fucking initiative to you know you're strong. You can do this. That's number one. And we've talked about replacing it with positive addictions, like working out, reading. If you're fucking addicted to reading, pick up mindset books. Get addicted to reading. If you get addicted to reading, you'll become a philosopher in 4 years, because that same energy you put towards addiction and the time and energy you put towards that, if you put towards something, you would shine. You would outshine thousands. That's the thing. But you could already outshine trillions by quitting an addiction. Depending on if you're at a young age, you're working with something that doesn't even understand what it is. You're working with an undeveloped brain, and you got it to stop wanting a drug. That is crazy. That has not been proven yet much in society. It is tough to find a lot of people who stop drugs and then don't go back to them or don't replace them using, it is tough. But you could really be the first. You could really be the first. You could really be the first. And it'll be the best reward because you did it. Not one person could have given you something. You know that this is a journey that through 1, 2, 3, 4, all the percentages, it was you. It was all you. And you want to go out in life, you want to love, you want to create a foundation, you want to do those things. This is the one way you can, is strength, is learning to be strong with that mind, and learning discipline. And this is the most fucking toughest way, but you can learn a lot of discipline through this. It will change your interim. It'll change the way you think. It will fix everything. Think about all the stuff that will be in your life without that. Because all this is going to come into your life. New things will come into your life. You don't realize you've hit a vibration where you've accepted things. You're okay with it as long as you have this. But life will see that you've been strong and put down that, and you're ready for new changes. And so life will then receive and give you new things. Better things, more helpful things, actual things that won't discard you on your journey. Lessons, more negativity, of course, and more positivity. But once you get through this, you will then be ready to be out there and go through every single situation and just with no fear. Pure velocity. You can hit any issue in life. The dude that gets through addiction is the strongest mentally person in the world. You can be the first to agree with that. You can take initiative, and it's all on you. You've just got to get up now, and you got to tell yourself that you need this for yourself. It's going to help you, and it is the return of investment. Most companies, I say that return of investment. Think of it like this: most companies dip. They spend a fuck shit. They lost $800 they spent, right? But they depend on that to grow once they dip and put all that money in. And it could grow a lot. It could grow exponentially. It could get them rich, or it could trash. The one thing about addiction is that there is no way that this could fail, and that every step that you are not hitting that, every step you are not drinking that, every step you are not injecting that, you are helping. There is no way you can fuck this up if you are just being strong and fighting however you do it. One thing you have to remember is that during this process, you're not stuck, you're not walking, you're not running, you're climbing constantly. You're constantly climbing. One day you're going to get to a peak where people see you're climbing, and they're going to see how fast you maneuver through the rocks because you've been doing this for a while. But you can get this very tough scenario, this very tough life experience that shakes you. It changes your interim, changes your personality, fucks that ego. But the outlook will be benefit, and I would love to see the outlook. I would love to see someone happy that they were able to change their lives and not depend on something. I've been there. I am a user. Trust me. I've battled with it, and I'm always still battling with it, of course. But we're going to together work on this, because I am in your shoes, and I am going to get out of there myself using what I told you, to be strong, to understand that I need this, to understand that it is right for me, and that I just need to turn my brain off when I feel like wanting it, and understand that I'm not just a chemical junkie, and that I need discipline to be a strong person. Maybe what you think you want isn't how you're going to receive it, but what you want will receive through discipline and hard work. And one way you can do it is by doing this. So stick with it, and I really hope this video helped you.